Welcome to the virtual travel summit of Travel Trade Maldives 2020. I'm your host, Dolores Semeraro. Please join me in welcoming the guest of today, the Indian High Commissioner to the Maldives, Mr. Shri Sunjay Sudhir. Welcome.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you on the virtual travel summit. This year on virtual mode, we have the opportunity to share a bit more of the relationships between India and Maldives. There is a close bond, a bond that basically has been fueled by a flock of celebrities coming to the countries, and especially over the last few months since the lockdown was lifted. Well, between these two countries, this friendship has become so strong that we have even created an air bubble between India and Maldives. And it's probably the first time two countries in Southeast Asia. What are the benefits to the Maldivian tourism directly coming from the air bubble?
As you know, there are restrictions on international travel these days between all countries, anywhere in the world. But as far as Maldives is concerned, India has started an air bubble. And with Maldives, this is the first air bubble India has established in the whole of South Asia. This is because of our very special relations. Government of India is committed to increasing tourism to Maldives. Initially, we started flights from Trivandrum and Kochi to Malé. And these flights were actually more used by medical patients and those who wanted to resume employment in the Maldives as economy was opening up here. But now, there are at least 5 Indian cities which are already connected. So in addition to Trivandrum and Kochi, we also have direct connectivity with Delhi, Mumbai, and Bangalore. And because of this, tourist arrival from India has shot up. And the figures for October show that very clearly. We expect that this will further increase in the coming months because December is usually a vacation month in India and everywhere in the world. So we really expect that figures will further go up.
It's quite the most popular means of travel indeed, and to reach the Maldives. But however, there are other ways to reach the destination, one of them being a ferry. And in September, we actually saw the news that the first ferry between India and Maldives was inaugurated from India to the city, to the island of Kuludufushi. However, this ferry is just a cargo ferry for the time being. Is there a possibility for this ferry to become a passenger one, so to give more options to travelers to reach the destination?
Well, last year in June, when Prime Minister Modi visited Maldives for a state visit, we signed an MOU to start a passenger cum cargo ferry. So immediately after that, we carried out some kind of a feasibility study, and the study found that for the moment, cargo ferry was a possibility, but passenger ferry, not really. So in September this year, just 2 months back, we started a cargo ferry service. The same ferry, of course, cannot be used for passengers, but in future, whenever there is a potential for starting passenger ferry, we will work on that option. The intent of the Indian government is to support tourism inflows into the Maldives, and this could be this will be supported by better connectivity, whether it's by air or by sea or by whatever means. We are there to support that.
Probably private jets coming out, looking at the amount of celebrities visiting the destinations over the last few months. In fact, if we look at the numbers, in 2018, the Indian market was coming 5th in terms of arrivals to the Maldives. And now, if we look at the figures of 2019, the Indian market is the 2nd, with more than 160,000 tourist arrivals to the destination. What would you say is the main reason of such an increase?
Well, it was quite a meteoric rise from number 5 to number 2 within 1 year. I think the main reason is that Maldives is a very unique destination. But I think the spurt which you have mentioned is prompted by a few factors. The main among them is that we signed a visa-free agreement in March last year. And that has added so much more convenience for travelers. For instance, if tomorrow somebody wants to travel from Mumbai to Maldives, they don't have to bother about their visa. They just take the next flight and fly to Maldives. The other reason is that there is a general positive vibe about the Maldives since President Soli assumed office in November 2018. At that time, Prime Minister Modi himself was here for the inauguration ceremony. After that, there have been so many high level political visits, there has been intensified economic engagement, and this has led to a very positive coverage of Maldives in Indian media. So there's a feel good factor which is translating itself into larger tourist arrival. More and more Indian celebrities are visiting here and posting on social media, as you just mentioned. And we are seeing more and more of these private charters coming to Maldives. So I think this is a situation in which the more the merrier. I must also add that better marketing by Maldives of their tourist destination certainly has a role to play.
What are the priorities for the Indian travelers when coming to a destination like Maldives? What matters to them?
Well, I think everything matters to them. Starting from the fresh air, the beautiful placid waters of this country, the marine life of this country, this sense of relaxation. Even before your flight lands here, the mere sight of turquoise waters is a very relaxing sight. And it all starts from there. And that's why people keep coming here again and again.
So do you forecast the Indian market to overtake the other markets in terms of arrivals to the Maldives?
Certainly. It's just a matter of time. And I think had it not been for COVID, we would have already been there this year probably. But we'll make up for lost time. And I think we should be at number one spot very soon.
And what can Maldives do as a destination to attract more Indian tourists?
I think marketing is the key. Especially in COVID time, because as winters are approaching, Europe is not in very good shape. So the very obvious destination should be Maldives. So better marketing at this point in time will certainly help. And from the High Commission perspective, we have been working with the government of Maldives in various ways. We have organized outreach through webinars. In fact, just 2 weeks back, we had a webinar in which MMPRC, Matato, ATA were there from the Maldivian side with their Indian counterparts. Dr. Masoom, the tourism minister, he delivered the keynote address. I also spoke on the occasion. I think these things will have started increasing the awareness of Maldives to the Indian tourist. Air bubble, you said, that's already there in place, and we are seeing increasing number of flights. So the more the flights, the more people come in. We are also planning some kind of a travel mart as soon as things ease out from the COVID perspective, where we plan to get our tour operators. We also want to have a road show in which our tour operators can showcase incredible India, and the Maldivian travel agencies can showcase the sunny side of life. We will do whatever we can to promote tourism between the two countries.
As we were just mentioning before, the lockdown and the pandemic has forced us to understand technology better and to embrace it in every possible way we can operate our daily jobs. And in terms of staying in touch with travelers and our guests at the hotels and the resorts, and obviously the tourists for the destinations, virtual presence is key. What are the activities that the Office of the Indian High Commission based in the Maldives is doing to promote the destination for the Indian market?
So we are in very, very intense discussions with the tourism sector here. We work closely with the tourism ministry, with the tourism, with MMPRC, which promotes and markets Maldives overseas. We are in touch with the tourism organizations here. We try to guide them about what would appeal to different segments of the Indian tourist sector. We try to make an outreach to the Indian tourism industry. We are working with some organizers here to see if we can get Indian tour operators as soon as possible for some kind of a roadshow. So we're trying to do what best we can on our part.
And what do you say are the most used booking system for the Indian tourists when it comes to booking their holidays to the Maldives?
Well, I wouldn't like to take names on this, but of course, most of the bookings are done online. There's no doubt about that.
They're done online directly or via tour operator?
Well, I think tour operators will always have a role to play. as far as tourism is concerned. But more and more online bookings are happening. That's my sense from my interactions with the travel industry here.
I think the Indian market, if anything, has been one of the first markets to pick up again in terms of arriving to the destination since the lockdown was lifted and the borders were opened again. What is the forecast for the destination in the coming months?
Just a few days back, we were looking at tourist arrivals in the Maldives. It's going up dramatically. At normal times, I'm told that there would be about 4,000 tourists arriving each day. In the last 1 week, there have been days on which up to 1,400 tourists have arrived. So, which is about, say, 1/3 the regular number of tourists. But the fact also is that if earlier the average length of stay was 5 days, now it is 10 days. So I think all in all, things are moving well, moving very well. And I think by the end of the year, it should come back to normal, inshallah.
And talking about the workforce that from India is based in the Maldives and working every day in the hospitality and tourism sector, is this period of time that is a very special period in terms of arrivals for a destination that is one of the pioneers in the Indian Ocean, having open borders while many other neighboring countries are still with their border closed. In this way, a lot of the workforce has been put under pressure to resume work or to be reskilled and retrained based on the new health and safety protocols that are required nowadays. How many Indian people are currently working in the Maldives, would you say?
So currently, there are about more than 20,000 Indians working across sectors. And a major part of Indians are working in different capacities in the hospitality sector. In fact, wherever I go, whichever resort I go to, I find sizable number of very skilled Indian people there. In fact, some months back, when the lockdown period had just started, our preoccupation at that time was to see how Indians can go back. Now it is how these people come back from India and rejoin their works in the hospitality sector, because things have restarted here. And as you mentioned, Maldives is among the very few countries which has opened up. I would say not only opened up, but opened up tourism in a very safe way. So if you look at the HPA, the Health Protection Agency records, the resorts themselves offer some kind of a very protected environment. And they have also imparted training to the staff at the resorts. And being from the service sector, the hospitality sector staff is intrinsically oriented towards learning these things very fast.
Yes, indeed. And I myself worked with very, very talented Indian colleagues when I was based in the Maldives a few years back. We are at a special time. The industry is in need of being reignited, and the travelers are in need to be sort of reassured that traveling is safe and with the proper precautions and following the proper guidelines and with a bit of responsibility personally, we can all travel again and support the industry sector of the destination. Well, I thank you for joining us today on the Virtual Travel Summit, and I hope to see you soon again in the Maldives.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's nice speaking to you.